My name's Tom Stuart-Smith and I'm designing the garden for the National Garden Scheme at Chelsea 24. And that's a really exciting moment for me because I've opened my garden here at home with my wife for the National Garden Scheme for about 30 years. And for us, it's a really sort of great moment in the year of being able to share our garden with a wide public and bringing a community of garden lovers and plant lovers together.
The National Garden Scheme has always been about gardens and health because in our very early days we fundraised for nursing and health charities. So there's always been that long thread throughout our history. In the first year, 600 gardens opened, they all charged £1 and they raised £8,000, and we've done effectively the same ever since. We charge slightly more than £1 today, but in 2023 3,500 gardens opened and they raised just over £4 million. And we still give the lion's share of the funding to nursing and health charities. Maggie's is where our garden is going to end up, and we've supported Maggie's with grants since 2017, really helping them build the gardens which are such an integral part of every Maggie's centre. And our Chelsea garden will be the foundation of a brand new garden. These gardens really do have a very particular positive impact both on everybody who works at a Maggie's centre and more particularly the people who visit, because to be able to sit outside with wildlife, with plants around, is incredibly restorative, and that's a very key factor both for the Maggie's and obviously the other gardens that we support in this way.
Your National Garden Scheme garden visitors investing in making each of our gardens possible across our Maggie centres in England, but also your community of people that come and visit the gardens, who open their gardens, are getting to hear about Maggie's and know about Maggie's too. It's a brilliant partnership.
But gardens have always been absolutely integral to Maggie's centres, haven't they?
They have, because of Maggie.
Yeah.
Maggie trained as a garden designer and worked on her own garden, but most importantly when she was coming to hospital for her cancer treatment, she talked about how the hospital environment was enough to finish you off, and just talked about the power of nature and being able to see and access nature. So gardens from the outset have been integral to part of Maggie's because of Maggie.
I really do think that when you first see this garden, your heartbeat will go down, your blood pressure will drop, and there'll be a sort of an exhalation, as it were. So it's not a garden that's going to strike you with a mass of flower or with a sort of great sense of horticultural abundance. It's more about the calm that you feel when you enter a woodland. And something we've done, which I think is really lovely, is we've got National Garden Scheme garden owners from around the country to contribute plants to the garden which we're growing on and we're going to plant in the garden, so that there are going to be little pockets of, that came from Kent, that came from Northamptonshire, that came from Lancashire, dotted through the garden. So that's really special, I think.
It's a wonderful opportunity for us because as a charity we could never justify doing a garden on our own. As a charity active in the gardening horticulture sector, it was a very natural thing for us to apply to Project Giving Back for support, and here we are, and it's been a wonderful partnership to date. We'd seen the first years of the gardens that they supported in 2022 and the impact that had both for the charities and for Chelsea Flower Show. And of course the Chelsea Flower Show audience is absolutely our audience. Many of them are very keen and committed gardeners and they're very interested, so we're hoping for a very high level of engagement with this huge audience throughout the week.